Welcome to this overview of piping QA/QC designed for Certified QA/QC Inspector CQI piping and Certified QA/QC Engineer CQE piping professional. Piping quality requires systematic control from material receiving and traceability through fabrication, joining, installation, inspection, testing, and final acceptance. We will cover both metallic and non-metallic piping systems with emphasis on conformity to approved drawings, project specifications, applicable standards, inspection test plans, and defined acceptance criteria throughout the construction quality process. Let's have a look on the roles and responsibilities of piping QA/QC inspector and engineer. Piping QA/QC responsibilities begin with understanding the applicable contract requirements, approved drawings, specifications, procedure and inspection, and test plans. Quality personnel perform inspection and surveillance throughout material receiving, fabrication, joining, installation, testing, verifying conformity against defined acceptance criteria. They coordinate required hold, witness, and review activities, maintain objective evidence of inspection results, identify non-conforming conditions, and verify corrective action and closure before the work progresses towards mechanical completion and final acceptance. Let's have an overview of piping systems and materials. Piping QA/QC requires a clear understanding of the material, service, and design basis of each system. Metallic piping may include carbon steel, stainless steel, and alloy steel, while non-metallic systems include RTR, GRP, and thermoplastic piping such as HDPE. Each system has specific requirements for material selection, joining, flexibility, supports, installation, and testing. Therefore, inspection must always be performed against the applicable piping class, approved specifications, drawings, and qualified construction procedures, rather than applying one inspection approach to every piping system. Let's see the difference between pressure piping and gravity flow piping. Piping systems must be evaluated according to their service and operating conditions. For pressure piping, QA/QC focuses on pressure rating, material compatibility, joint integrity, sports, restraints, and the specified pressure test requirements. For gravity flow systems, line grade, invert elevation, slope, alignment, bedding, and joint integrity become critical inspection parameters. Testing requirements are service specific, therefore, the inspector must verify the applicable project specifications and approved test procedures rather than assuming that every piping system requires the same hydrostatic test. Piping drawings, codes, and technical requirements. Effective piping QA/QC starts with the approved engineering and quality documentation. The inspection basis includes P&IDs, piping plans, applicable codes and standards, project specifications, piping classes, approved construction procedures, and the inspection and test plans. These documents establish the design requirements, inspection stages, and acceptance criteria. Before inspection, QA/QC personnel must verify the applicable document and current approved revision, ensuring that construction and inspection activities are performed against controlled project requirements. What is piping isometric drawing? The piping isometric drawing is a primary reference for fabrication and installation control. QA/QC personnel verify line identification, dimensions, material specification, piping configuration, fittings, flanges, walls, branch connections, supports and restraints against the approved design. Isometrics are also used to establish joint locations, field connections, and dimensional compliance. Particular attention is given to the latest approved revision, ensuring that fabrication and field installation accurately reflect approved engineering requirements before inspection and acceptance. Material receiving identification and traceability. Piping quality begins with effective material control and traceability. Pipings, fittings, flanges, gaskets, and walls are verified against applicable material specifications, grade, size, class, and approved certification. Required markings and identification must remain traceable throughout construction. Materials are also examined for damage and properly preserved during storage and handling. Particular attention is given to end protection, coated or lined components, and stainless steel segregation, ensuring only conforming materials are released for fabrication and installation. Let's have a look on metallic piping, fabrication and welding inspection. Metallic piping inspection requires systematic control of fit up, Welding's dimensional compliance and examination. Before welding, QA/QC verifies material identification, joint preparation, alignment, and applicable tolerances. Welding is performed by qualified personnel in accordance with approved procedures, with weld identification and traceability maintained. Completed joint undergoes the specified visual inspection entity and PWHD where required. Branch connections, attachments, flanges, alignments, and spool dimensions are also verified before the fabricated piping is released for field installation. Metallic piping fabrication inspection starts with joint preparation, fit-up alignment, and dimensional verification before welding. QA/QC personnel confirms that welding is performed using approved procedures and qualified personnel, while maintaining weld identification and traceability. Completed welds are subjected to the required visual inspection and entity in accordance with the applicable requirements. Branch connections, attachments, and flange alignment are also verified together with post-weld heat treatment where specified before the fabricated spool is released for installation. HDPE and thermoplastic piping requires controlled fusion and jointing process rather than conventional welding inspection. QA/QC verifies material identification, compatibility, joint preparation, cleanliness alignment, and the applicable pre-qualified jointing procedure. Butt fusion and electrofusion joints are performed using qualified procedures, personnel, and suitable equipment with specific fusion parameters controlled and recorded. Completed joints are visually examined for acceptance, workmanship, and traceability before installation, restraints, and subsequent testing in accordance with the applicable project requirement. Field installation inspection verifies that piping is erected in accordance with the approved drawing specifications and design requirements. QA/QC confirms routing, orientation, elevation, slope where applicable, flank alignment, and wall installation, and field tie-ins. Pipe supports, anchors, guides, restraints, and spring settings are verified for correct location and installation. Unauthorized supports or field modifications are not accepted without appropriate approval. Prior to testing, the system must achieve the required construction, inspection, and documentation status for release. Pressure testing is a critical verification stage before the piping system is accepted for service. QA/QC verifies the approved test procedure, test boundaries, test pressure, test medium, calibrated instruments, vents, drains, supports, and required temporary restraints. Required construction inspection and examination must be completed before testing. During the test, pressure is maintained for the specified duration while accessible joints are examined for leakage. Any defect requires appropriate corrective action and retesting before acceptance, depressurization, and system reinstatement. Let's see what are the common piping QA/QC issues and non-conformities. Common piping quality issues include incorrect materials, loss of traceability, dimensional deviations, flange misalignments, unacceptable welds or non-metallic joints, and incorrect support installation. Gravity flow systems may also exhibit incorrect slope or invert elevation, while pressure testing may identify leakage or loss of pressure. When work fails to meet specified acceptance criteria, the condition must be identified and documented, appropriate corrective action implemented, and the affected work re-inspected and verified for conformity before final closure and acceptance. Let's see what are the QA/QC documentation, turnover, and final acceptance. Piping QA/QC is complete only when objective evidence of conformity is properly documented and traceable. Quality records include material receiving inspection, RFIs, welding or joining records, entity reports, pressure test documentation, NCRs, and corrective action records. Outstanding deficiencies and punch item must be resolved, reinstatement verified, and applicable as built documentation completed. Following the final walkdown, the approved quality dossier supports mechanical completion, system turnover, and final acceptance in accordance with contractual and project requirements. This slide presents the comprehensive portfolio of professional training and certification programs offered by Abduls Pro Private Limited. We provide QA/QC certifications for inspectors, engineers, and managers across multiple engineering disciplines, along with internationally recognized ISO 9001, ISO 14001, and ISO 45001 lead auditor trainings. Our portfolio also includes construction management certifications such as CPCM and CCS, as well as Six Sigma Green Belt and Black Belt program.
Each program is designed to develop practical, industry relevant competencies that support career advancement, professional recognition, and excellence across the engineering, construction, and quality management sectors. Thank you once again for your time and participation. We wish you continued success in your professional and career journey.